So a lot of my talks are very application-based. And then the talk I did at Speaker Slam was about suicide and having a cause for pause. So again, telling a little bit of our story interweaved with a framework and a question about what's your cause as a prevention towards suicide, something that we can all implement. Today I'm going to go even more personal and tell you my story as we kind of went through this journey with post-traumatic stress. Imagine being a young woman looking at the trucks go by, the sirens go by, the big built men, all kinds, smiling, right? Like I'm pulling over to the right. Well, I married one. I know, right? He's just gorgeous. Mr. April, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. And more than being a stunning looking man, let me tell you about this guy. His level of compassion to do what he does, to get in there. He's not just doing his thing, like he's a skilled professional, but he's such a human being and he's with you when you're going through it at your worst. He's so into what you're going through, he brings it home. But he tries not to. He tries not to, because he doesn't want to burden me or bother the children, both under the age of 10. You know, he wants to be the strong guy, because that's what he's supposed to do. Well, what we noticed was that this honeymoon marriage, and let me tell you, it was all honeymoon. We were crazy about each other. Well, this marriage shifted. Something changed. We became strangers. We disconnected. I became lonely. I can only imagine what he was going through. And then all of a sudden, this quiet guy turns into this raging guy. And me, I'm a pretty strong woman. I'm constantly walking on eggshells. This was our dynamic at home. This was our reality. Until one day, when he's in the kitchen, I don't know what I said. I don't even know what I did. But the veins are popping out of his forehead. His neck is strained. He's sitting there. And he looks at me and he goes, "You've got balls." Oh. And I stood there for a second. And normally I wouldn't, want to be combative. But I was like, hell no. Yes, I do! Because how the hell do you think I've stuck around so damn long? He was shocked. I was shocked. This had become our reality. And we knew something had to change, and we knew something was wrong. I couldn't wait to get out of the house to go doing something fun and doing something without him, but yet afraid to leave him at home because I wasn't sure if he'd be there when I get back or what I could be walking into. Things were really dark. But that was a wake-up call for him too, that something was wrong. So we started talking a lot more. And not just the surface level stuff, guys. I mean, we started going deep. Because we needed to give ourselves the permission to be human. I couldn't save him on my own. He needed to want to be saved. He needed to want to choose his marriage and his family. Once we established that desire was there, I had to give him the space to be able to heal. So how do I show up? Ask. We don't ask enough questions. So we sat there together and we gave each other the permission to be human. And what I have found in having more and more conversations with more and more people is that we as a society don't do that enough. But that was the beginning of change for us and our marriage and our lives. The second thing that I discovered for me was self-compassion. Because I started to feel guilty that how did I not see this before? Being a psychotherapist, why didn't I know it wasn't post-traumatic stress? Why didn't I do something sooner? Well, I had to allow myself to strictly just be the wife at home and forgive myself for that. And allow myself to feel the hurt, the anger, the loneliness, everything that comes along with being a spouse of someone who's suffering. That was the key for me to be able to show up better for him and my kids. The next thing was no shame and no stigma. Not in my house. Absolutely not. Everything you want to talk about, anything my kids wanted to know about, open table. Let's talk about it. Let's talk sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is. Let's talk about the suicide. Because we both found ourselves there. He found himself there looking at a pole, wondering how fast he'd have to go. I found myself there at 2 a.m., nowhere to go, and didn't want to go back home. So we had to talk about it. And we found our cause for pause, each of us. His was a lot more nobler than mine. His was, he didn't want us to find him that way. Mine was, what if I fuck it up? Then what? So what we've learned along the way is that we're strictly just human. Those uniforms, they're not armor. They're clothing. And when we take off those uniforms, we're just human. And what differentiates our first responders from the regular population is that we see trauma. We all see trauma. We're all human. And most of us will get over the trauma we see. But what happens is when you take a human being, strap on a uniform, and consistently put them in the face of trauma, where they have no time to decompress, to heal, to take care of themselves, then we're really putting another human being in a real hot spot. And they're not the only ones who suffer. So we know that out there, the news and everyone's really talking about PTSD and talking about first responders. But I'll tell you, when we were going through it, we didn't get one phone call. I got my husband help because I knew how as a spouse. And my mission is to help other spouses know how to help their spouse, to help themselves, keep their families together, keep you all alive. But I'll tell you, when we were going through it, we didn't get one phone call. Not from one person asking us, myself and my children, once we had gotten my husband into his program, are you okay? My children would get up in the morning and make their breakfast, get dressed for school, and meet me downstairs by the door because I couldn't get myself out of bed. Because I was so exhausted from the months and months and months leading up to being able to get him into treatment. But if you look at my kids now, they are fantastic. They will tell you their hero is their daddy. He's not a monster, which I know a lot of people, a lot of first responders are afraid of. Talk to your children, explain what you're going through, have these important conversations, because you can survive and thrive after post-traumatic stress. There is post-traumatic growth. We are stronger and better than we've ever been. We are happier. Let me tell you, that picture does not do him justice. And we are just as in love and crazy about each other because we found ourselves again and found ourselves even better. I show up better. He shows up better, and our children are well. So our mission now is to help others. And so we have a psychoeducation arm where we offer help to departments on how to talk to their staff and get their staff taking care of themselves, as well as individually coaching and offering therapy to other folks as well. But just remember, this isn't just a first responder thing, it's a human thing. So let's give ourselves the opportunity to have the permission to be human and feel what we feel, and self-compassion so we don't hold on to it and it moves us to the next stage. Thank you.